Thank you very much. This is the RM of Springfield meeting agenda for September the 2nd of 2025, starting at exactly 6 p.m. I'm Mayor Patrick Therrien, calling this to order with all council present. That will be Deputy Mayor Fuel, Councillor Kaczynski, Councillor Miller, and Councillor Warren. Then we'll go to land acknowledgement there. The RM of Springfield acknowledges that we are gathered on ancestral lands, Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, OG Cree, Dakota, Dene people, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Approval of the agenda. Could I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillors Warren and Fuel. There is one addition to be added to the agenda. I'll let the CEO read that.
Be it resolved that the agenda be amended as follows. Add new business, replacement of discharge pump, Main Street and Oakwood Road.
With that read, can I get a show of hands of those in support? That is unanimous and so carried. Any other additions or comments from council? I see none. And at this point here, get a show of hands in support of the approval of the agenda. That is unanimous, so carried. Item 5 is the adoption of the minutes. Mover or seconder, please. Therrien and Kaczynski. Any questions at all for the council minutes for August the 19th, additions or deletions? I see none. If I can get a show of hands for support first. That is unanimous and so carried. We'll go to reports, please. It's item 6.1 on our agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Warren and Fuel. Any comments, Councillor Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. Just noticed you didn't have a report, but you did indicate that you had, I believe, a board meeting or an update from JohnQ. Could you enlighten us if there was anything that came out of that?
I sent you the report there for JohnQ. There was some kind of a, it's on my part, it's nobody else's fault. I thought I had done it, and I'm confident I did, and it must have been sent and lost in the queue somewhere. As you're all aware, I don't think anybody's a real techie giant, and I'm certainly not. But that report is, I'll add that to our my next meeting there. And if somebody has it here, I'll read it aloud there. Yeah, so I sent a report to everybody here, so everybody should have a copy of it.
Thank you. Just a follow-up for that. Was there any discussion on the allocation of funds that went through Boom Done Next and or Marnie Larkin? I think there was some challenging words that were, I don't know if they're accusations, I don't know if there's reality or truth to them, but was anything discussed on the allocation of funds during the caretaker period or just before the caretaker period when the province took part? And or do you know of any investigation that's going on? You were a member of that board at that time when that money was transferred, so I'm just curious to know if you can enlighten us on any aspect of that.
I think I answered that question in your email there, but I'll say it publicly here. There is I don't know if it's even in a proper investigation, but there is something from the Auditor General there. And as for discussions, I'd have to read my report, what I sent out to yourselves there. We're waiting for the report like anybody else. That is an administrative issue. I would not even be asked for an interview or anything with regards to that. So it's in the process. So to be fair, I don't think I should talk about it, but there is nothing to talk about. I wasn't privy to any discussions on that. Anything else? Okay, with that there, like I say, I will have September or August and September reports for the next meeting coming up. Can I get a show of hands of those in support of the reports as read? That is unanimous and so carried. Then if we can go to 6.2, please, that is departmental reports. Mover and a seconder, please. Warren and Kaczynski. Any questions with regards to the reports? I see none. If I can get a show of hands, those in support of the departmental reports. Unanimous, so carried. Then if we can go to bylaw readings under 8.1, for bylaw 2513, approach bylaw second reading. A mover and a seconder, please. Fuel and Warren.
Be it resolved that second reading be given to bylaw number 25-13, being a bylaw of the RM of Springfield, to provide certain restrictions as to the location, construction, and number of exits from and entrances to private property via municipal roads.
Questions from council? I see none. With that resolution being read, can I get a show of hands for bylaw 2513, second reading? Carried, unanimous. If we can go to 8.2, same thing, third reading, a mover and a seconder, Therrien and Miller.
Be it resolved that third and final reading be given to bylaw number 25-13, being a bylaw of the RM of Springfield, to provide certain restrictions as to the location, construction, and number of exits from and entrances to private property via municipal roads.
If there's no questions, then we'll proceed to the vote, and I see none. If I can get a show of hands, those. Do you have a question? Oh, you're way ahead of me then. Okay, those in support, third reading. Oh, let's do it again. We're all out of sync here. So that is unanimous. So carried. All right, consent agenda. That's if we can do it all in as a 10.1, 10.2. And 10.3, 4, and 5. So we got those items in a consent agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, with regards to that? Warren and Fuel. Any opposition to doing the consent agenda? I see none. If I can get a show of hands of those in support of the consent agenda as read. That is unanimous and so carried. Under new business, if we can look at 11.1, please. Mover and a seconder for Federation of Canadian Municipalities. That's Warren and Fuel. Any questions with regards to this at all? See none. If I can get a show of hands for those.
Want me to read the resolution?
Yeah, you may as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Whereas a climate adaptation plan will identify, assess, and prioritize climate risks across municipal infrastructure and services and provide a roadmap to guide future municipal action and investments. Be it resolved that Council of the RM of Springfield directs staff to apply for a funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund under the Climate Ready Plans and Processes stream to support the development of a climate adaptation plan.
Thank you very much. Any questions from council with regards to this FCM? I see none. With the resolution being read, can I get a show of hands, those in support? That is unanimous and so carried. And if we go to 11.2, please, financial statements for July of 2025. A mover, seconder, Therrien and Fuel.
Be resolved that the financial statement for July 2025 be approved as presented.
Questions from council with regards to this? Councillor Kaczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. On page 1 of financial report, it's recreation and culture services, and we spent $2 million more. What those expenses was for?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to know that just from this document. I'd have to go drill into that so I can get back to you with that information.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? I see none. Then if we can read the resolution, we can vote on that.
Be it resolved that the financial statement for July 2025 be approved as presented.
Thank you. As read, can I get a show of hands, those in support? This is unanimous and so carried. 11.3, it's a Board of Revision appointments. Mover and a seconder, Therrien and Miller.
Be it resolved that the RMS Springfield 2026 Board of Revision be held November 13th, 2025, and be it further resolved that the board be composed of the following people: Doug Shaver, Chair, Councillor Andy Kaczynski, Councillor Melinda Warren, and Christy Groenheid, Board Secretary.
Any questions from council? I see none. We can go to show of hands, those in support. So unanimous and carried. We'll go to 11.4, please. Supplemental taxes due, or 2026 supplemental taxes. Mover and a seconder, please. Warren and Kaczynski.
Be it resolved that the list of assessment changes dated September 26, 2025 be accepted and that supplemental taxes be authorized with the due date of January 30th, 2026.
With that read, any questions? And if we can put it to the question, those in support? So carried, unanimous. If we can go to 11.5, mover and a seconder for a social media modernization procedure, information purposes only. Mover and a seconder, Kaczynski and Warren, or Fuel.
This was just for information, so I apologize. I don't have a resolution ready.
Okay. You want to come back to that? We'll go to 11.6.
So I had originally just posted this for information. Our marketing and communications coordinator has been working on this procedure for just probably over a month now, and so it's been ready and we wanted to post it on the website. So I thought just at the same time we would provide this for council and the public's information. So it's just a moderation procedure that we can follow regarding our social media channels. So we could just pass a resolution accepting it as information at this point.
Okay. Councillor Kaczynski.
Thank you. So who is responsible for this social media in our municipality?
So Haley Truthwaite is our communications coordinator, and she monitors all the social media channels.
And what the findings are that we're gonna have changes made to this social media procedure? What the findings was that something happened on the social media that?
No, I think it's pretty standard practice for most people to have a procedures around their social media. So just quickly, I could list off Selkirk, City of Winnipeg, the province of Manitoba. If you go onto their website, they'll call it something different, either a moderation policy or terms of use for social media. And it just kind of outlines the guidelines that the public is expected to follow on social media and what the RM can do in response to serious breaches or inappropriate material. So the RM does have that option to remove. I don't recall any time that we've had to remove anything so far, but there's always a chance that we would have to in the future, but we wanted to be fully aware to the public what constitutes inappropriate material.
And it's gonna be, we don't have it right now, and
we had something internally, but we wanted to post that on the public website and just for council to be aware. So we had our internal guidelines, but I thought it was more appropriate that the public would be aware of what those guidelines are.
so why municipality will tell anybody what to speak, how to speak, and when to speak?
Any social media platform would have those guidelines. This isn't new.
And provided by whom? Who provide those guidelines like that?
Well, Haley researched that and created those guidelines based on, looking at other people's policies and what seems to be appropriate and not appropriate.
And who make the decision what is appropriate, what's not?
Staff did. Council passed the social media policy, and now this is a guidelines procedure that comes from that policy.
So we're gonna be limiting people what they can say and how they're gonna say it. I don't know. It's because of the criticism of the municipality, or
As I
on
said,
what basis do we do those changing the procedures?
so to date, we have not amended any postings or removed any postings.
So actually, nothing really bad happening. If there are threats to anybody, then anybody just can call whoever threats is associated with. He can call police, like Councilor Warren did. If it was threat, then she called the police, and
Well,
Yeah,
we're
but-
not going to allow people to threaten each other on social media, so that would be a post that we would probably remove if someone was threatening to cause harm.
why would you remove, and why wouldn't just somebody call police on that?
Well, we would remove it and call the police.
Oh, okay. And it's up to municipality to do that, as long as threat is made to who, like your employees or our municipal
Well, our
employees?
communication employees train in this area, so she would be the best person to moderate social media and decide what's appropriate or not.
Well, I never spoke with this person about social media. How, as a council, we can make that decision? We never spoke about this lady who's gonna make the decision.
Well, I
We-
guess,
It's up to the councilors to make those.
no.
No, it's not up to council. They don't,
No,
council doesn't moderate the social media, staff does.
I didn't say that. It's council to provide the directions for our employees, or through you, of course, through a CAO.
And we do that through the social media policy that was passed and approved by
Mm.
council resolution.
Never
I'll
that I
provide a
was
copy of
aware
that
about it.
policy.
When was that done?
Don't have the date offhand. I can provide council with the policy, but within the policy, it does say what's allowed and not allowed. So this document is just something we put together for the public to know what's appropriate or not.
Okay, so wait for that date of that. When that happened, was council approved that. Thank you.
The only thing I could add to that is anonymous. There, do we take anonymous? I know that Facebook there they have anonymous there, and my idea whether it's necessary or not, it's just that's something we can take back to Haley or you guys who can look at it. If it's anonymous, then we should not be putting it on there. That's just my opinion.
And I know anonymous is included in other people's content, but we find even our Zoom meetings, sometimes people will log in anonymously and use different names, so we don't know who those people are. So we're not too concerned about whether they're anonymous or not. We're just looking at the comments being made.
Okay. Should we put in anonymous there if as a stipulation? But like you say, I guess what you're saying is that they could put down there Richard Nixon there, and you wouldn't know otherwise. But yeah, that makes sense. The deputy mayor.
Yeah, I just want to make it known that I support this procedure, and I believe if there's something that is said or done that's so strong that they'll end up be talking to the councilors or that, and we'll be aware of it. But having said that, I'm fully in support of this procedure. Thank you.
I am as well. Mark?
Thank you. I think it is important to have a guideline and some policies to restrict, obviously, racist and comments that could be hurtful to people and such. In terms of what the mayor is saying in terms of anonymous, I think it's right. It would be nice for people to disclose themselves, but they can just go under fictitious names. So I'm not sure that we can really solve that point. I do want to make a comment that a resident, Mr. Giesbrick, did send in some notes, and he's got some very specific concerns. I'm not sure I share all of those concerns, but I think members of council have had the opportunity to read that, and if the CA could show or could share that with the marketing and communications person, so they know what at least his concerns are. And of course, if other residents have concerns, what we don't want to do is funnel and kind of channel what the discussion is. We're not a police state, and we don't want to be. We want people to have the free ability to share information, share concerns, but not be racist, hurtful, or any of those kinds of things. So I think it's important for us to have some sort of guidelines like this.
And for your information, I did share the residents document with Haley already. And I said after tonight, any other comments, we would discuss it later. So.
Any other questions at all? And I see none. Is that for a vote or just information?
Well, we had, I think, moved by Councillor Warren, seconded by Councillor Fuel.
Okay.
Be it resolved that council accept the social media moderation procedure.
Can I get a show of hands of those in support? It's unanimous, so carried. Then we'll just go to adjournment, or I'm sorry, we got the addition on there. Replacement of the discharge pump, 11.6. A mover and a seconder, please, for that. Therrien and Warren.
Be it resolved that Council of the RM of Springfield authorize the purchase of a flight model BS-2250 submersible pump from Contact Projects Limited to replace the failed discharge pump at the Main Street LDS lift station in Oak Bank at Main Street and Oakwood Road, and the amount of $87,600 plus applicable taxes, tariffs, and reinstallation costs, including electrical and mechanical.
I just had a question there, CEO there. This was something on the 28th identified. Is there not provisions for exigent circumstances there that this is something, like, are we holding off on this now until the council has made a decision on it?
So I think Phil is online, but he had made me aware a week ago, and then he's been attempting to get as many quotes as he could. So he did receive 2 quotes. So the reason for the report is council approval is required, as this is an emergency purchase required due to the immediate need and time constraint, and that this item was unforeseen and therefore not included in the 2025 financial plan.
Okay.
So we could have ordered it and then come to council for approval after the fact, but we felt that adding to tonight's, we still had the time to get it approved. And there is, I think he put in the timeline, a 10 to 12 week order period. So we did want to get this in as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I guess I just want to clarify if it's one of those circumstances there, if it happens on a Friday and a long weekend or something like that, I don't want somebody to be hindered for doing their job, and Phil's doing an exceptional job. Don't get me wrong there. It's just if it's needed, it's needed, and let's just do it, and then bring it to us later on, which is essentially what happened here. But I'm just, as long as I reiterate the fact that there shouldn't be, held to this the policy when extreme circumstances may require this kind of an expense. And like I say, if it's 10 to 12 weeks, it's an extra 4 days isn't going to make a difference. But he's already doing his due diligence anyway. So
yeah, and I think Phil made a good call to put in a temporary pump. So we have a reduced capacity right now, so it gives us a little breathing room to get that pump ordered. So
yeah, no criticism on Phil. I think it's an exceptional job. But Councillor Kaczynski.
Thank you. So do we have program that we check periodically our equipment like that, so we can see what's happening with this equipment? Like, for instance, this pump maybe every 2 years, every 3 years. We should have the pump, program set it up, procedures that, our department are checking on that equipment, so we don't have this situation happening like that.
yeah, so I think they do general operation and maintenance, but it was during operation that they noticed it wasn't working properly. But maybe Phil can add more to that if he wants. But I think, yeah, they do maintenance. It was just this pump's time.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's from 1981, so you know.
Yeah.
It's due for replacement anyway. So, thank you.
All right, any other questions from council? If we read the resolution, if I get a show of hands, those in support? That is unanimous and so carried. Nothing for close meeting there. If we can go to adjournment, a mover and a seconder for item 14 for adjournment, please. Miller and Warren. And show of hands, those in support? Unanimous, carried. Thank you very much. And we'll close at 6:25. Thank you.